One of the most unsettling things about the world is how uneven social progress is. You can be in one country where women can vote, work, and own property, and people will claim feminism is obsolete. But then you look elsewhere, in parts of South Asia, in regions of Africa, and you're reminded just how violently patriarchy still operates. This headline is horrifying, but it's not shocking, not when you understand how deeply misogyny runs. In Pakistan, newborn baby girls are being murdered and dumped in garbage piles simply because they are not boys. This isn't rare, this isn't new, it's just rarely spoken about. The same thing has happened and still happens in places like China. For decades, under the one-child policy, countless baby girls were aborted because families wanted sons. Combine that policy with a culture that openly prefers boys and you get gendercide, mass erasure of girls before they're even born. And it's not just abortion, it's abandonment, neglect, even infanticide. This isn't just about Pakistan or China, it's global. Misogyny mutates depending on context, but the root is the same. When men are elevated at the expense of women, girls become disposable. Where I grew up in Nigeria, people still go to church and pray fervently for a male child, as if having a daughter is some kind of curse. I've seen people stand at the altar and testify that God broke the yoke of having daughters by finally giving them a son. Imagine hearing that in front of your 4 living daughters, being called a problem God had to fix. Meanwhile, in places like the UK, you don't see that kind of desperation around the gender of a child. But that doesn't mean the sexism is gone. It's just quieter, more polite. In many places, especially in Europe, having a daughter is still seen as less than. It just doesn't always end in a landfill, but in some places it does. That's why we can't afford to talk about misogyny like it's just mean comments or unequal pay. The deeper it's allowed to root itself into a culture, the more violent its outcomes become. And we're seeing that now in discarded daughters, in grieving mothers, in a world that still doesn't see girls as fully human. And the worst part is this doesn't even make headlines globally. We're watching the fallout of generational misogyny, and barely anyone is talking about it. If you date men, you need to understand this. In some parts of the world, girls are discarded at birth. In others, we're raised, only to be devalued later, ignored in dating, silenced in marriage, blamed in motherhood. From the moment we're born, the message is the same: you are less. That mindset doesn't disappear just because a man loves you. It shows up in how much of the housework he thinks is yours, in how he talks about providing sons, in how quickly he dismisses your emotions, your labor, your needs, in how disposable he makes you feel, without ever saying the word. Microfeminism for lovers is a daily message I send to women who still want love, but refuse to date or marry inside a system that devalues them by default. Each message is short, sharp, and built to help you unlearn the quiet scripts that call that devaluation normal. Because it starts with gender of preference, and it ends with women giving everything and being seen as nothing. Use the link in my bio to join. You'll get one message every morning.